should be live, Jane.
Let's hope so.
Let's find out,
Let's
shall
hope
we?
so.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm glad now you're back. I've missed you.
Oh,
missed my
bless you.
pal, I did.
Oh,
You
it
nearly
feels like
didn't
it doesn't.
go, though.
Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't feel like I've been away.
I know.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
No.
Crazy.
Lovely, lovely John stood in for you last
He
week.
did.
He did
Bless
a pre-recorded
him.
show
Did a lovely
for us.
quilt.
He did. Sparkly Christmas quilt. If anyone missed last week's show, John did very, very kindly record this Christmas sparkly Christmas quilt. It changed.
Yes.
He changed the way around it went. When the pattern came through, it was sparkly Christmas. It started out Christmas sparkle. I digress. John very kindly pre-recorded a show last week so that Jane could have, a holiday.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've got to let you go.
Let me go away.
It doesn't
yes.
agree with us, I'll be honest. But sometimes we have to let that happen. I'm just going to check that people can see and hear us, Jane.
It's a good idea.
We're
It's
never
a good plan.
sure. We're never sure.
It's a good
I like
plan.
it when it says your internet connection was restored in the bottom corner. That's not even slightly disconcerting, is it? Can you see and hear us? Let's find out.
Let's hope we're all there.
I hope so. Well, it says we've got a viewer.
Good.
That's
That's good.
Yes, there is.
That's good. Good morning.
Yes,
Good
there
morning.
is.
We got sunshine this morning for a change.
We have.
Yesterday we thought we were going to launch the Ark, didn't we?
Well, we thought Natasha was going to have to go back to Cornwall in a boat.
Yes.
It was chucking it down.
HMS
yesterday.
Natasha.
I know, and we could hear it, and viewers were saying, are those the mics going fuzzy or is that rain? I'm like, no, it's actually rain.
Yeah, it was torrential yesterday.
Terrible.
It dried up by the time I got home. That was the main thing.
Oh, look.
Oh,
We
we've got
are
lots of
live,
people.
yes.
Good morning.
Hello, Rona and Vicky. Thank you. Thank you for telling us, and Julia for telling us that we are here. Brilliant. That's what we like to see.
It is. Good to know that somebody's watching.
It's a good start.
It is.
That's always the first thing we need to achieve. Tick. Anyway, good morning and welcome to Natasha Mix. We've got something very special for you today, and it's something that Jane's been working on for over a year.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's our calendar quilt.
Yes. Lots of exciting, different blocks, different techniques. Mostly a
It's something you've always wanted to
applique.
do, Jane, isn't it?
Yeah, mostly applique. And each month it depicts a different sort of thing that goes with the month, I think.
Beautiful.
We've got Frosty Flakes for January, which is the one we're going to demo today.
Yeah.
We've got a nice woven heart. That's a nice, interesting technique to try.
This is amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
And that's a bit of reverse applique on there.
Nice.
And we've got March winds. That's just applique and patchwork in there. April showers.
Beautiful.
Bit of applique. Mayflowers.
Yeah.
That's a nice Baltimore style block.
Yeah.
Free motion applique again. This is June. Flowers, butterflies. Then for July always makes me think of
I love this
summer
one.
fairs.
I love many, but this one
Yeah.
really gets
And
me.
there's a lot of free motion embroidery on there, which you can do by hand or
Yeah.
you can have a go at doing with the machine as well.
Yes.
There's all lots of techniques to try, and it's sort of like giving you different techniques of applique and maybe pushing your skill bound. Just watch as you pick that
yeah,
up.
of course, you have to get the base.
Hold the
I
base
forget
of that.
every time.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Yes, we'll explain this in a moment.
Then we've got August, summer holidays, go
Love
to the
it.
beach. Then we've got September with the autumn, the leaves starting to change.
Beautiful.
Then-
And then we'll do this look, Jane.
Yeah. And then we've got October with the harvest moon and the pumpkins.
I love the pumpkins.
And then November always makes me think of fireworks, so that's like a firework going off.
You used the fantastic sparkle blenders there as
Yeah.
well, which just have a very subtle,
Just
little
a
bit
nice
of
little bit of sparkle.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then December, Christmas time, but Christmas wreath rather than a obvious Christmas
Wouldn't
thing,
that
because you'd
make-
want it out
yeah.
all year.
But wouldn't that make the most lovely cushion as well?
Absolutely.
Oh, great.
Absolutely.
Great. In fact, I'm going to the Christmas fair tomorrow.
Oh, are
at
you?
the NEC.
Oh,
yeah,
how
in
lovely.
Birmingham with my mum and
Yeah.
Vicky and my husband. 4 of us are going.
Yes.
And that would be great on a tote bag,
Yes.
Oh, and there's so many things you can do with these projects, and that's what's so lovely.
Yeah.
Because we're doing this, a different block every month.
Yeah.
The instructions are in digital and printed format, so you can choose which ones you want. We've not put them in with the fabric kit, as usual, to make sure the options there
Yeah,
have your
because,
preferred medium.
you may have little scraps of fabric that you think you might be able to use yourself. So, we've kitted it so that you can do it the same fabrics that I've done it in,
Well,
or
this
you
is
can
the
choose.
clever
You can have the
thing.
pattern and do your own.
Yeah, and we will look at the kit in a moment, but when you buy the kit, you've got I mean, this month we're using hexiform, but you've got leftover components that then you can stash dive and make more and more of them.
Yes.
But you can make them into a lovely quilt, and the measurements for the quilt are on the product pages as well. Or, Jane, you can do what the whole point of this was in the first place. Because this
We've
is what
done
you
it
had
like
the fancies for, didn't you?
a perpetual calendar, really. So each
Fabulous.
block, you can just have it as a little mini quilt which you can hang. So obviously this is January's with the frosty flakes. I haven't got all of them finished, funnily enough. But each one has got a little hanger on the back that you can put in. All this is included in the instructions. So the instructions will tell you how to make the block, and it will also tell you how to finish it if you want it as an individual hanging.
Yes.
If you want to make it into the quilt, we will come to that at the end, and we'll talk about how that all goes together.
Yeah.
So the fabric that you have in your quilt, each block, you will have enough to make an individual hanging. Now you can decide, if you do the individual hanging, you'll have enough of your background fabric to either make two fronts, so you could make an individual hanging and a quilt, or you could use the front and the back of your individual hanging. I've just used plain calico on the back of mine, but if you wanted to, you would have enough fabric from the block to do the back of it as well. So you've got enough to do one individual hanging, or you've got enough to do the front of your individual hanging and the quilt or a cushion or whatever else you'd like to make it into.
This is amazing, Jane, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's enough in effect. There's enough in the kit to make 2 blocks, is what I'm trying to say, in a roundabout way.
Hexiform to do 2 blocks and then have a bucket load left over.
Absolutely.
You need 24 of one of the hexiform and 18 of the other, and these packs, well, you'll see, you get 60 in one and 90 in the other, so you're going to have loads of leftovers. And this is exciting. It's a stash builder, and you get things like threads, and we'll talk about this.
Yeah, when we go into the demonstration, I'll go through these blocks individually, and you can have a closer look at them.
Lovely.
Lovely. So that you get a better feel of what we're going to do.
But you can join us every month for this make, which will be great.
Yeah.
And then, Jane, I love the way you've put this together, because you've tried to, you mentioned some of the techniques and skills that are in each one, but just really subtly introduce some new skills.
Yes.
Or even, through experience.
It's a small enough project just to push yourself a little bit each time.
Or even if it's not that you need to develop those skills because you have them, it just keeps each block different and varied and interesting.
Yeah.
Because things like reverse applique and the weaving, I haven't done that. I haven't done that yet.
That was quite new to me. It's one I'd seen for a while, and I wanted to have a go at it.
It looks great.
And it comes out really lovely.
It looks really great. And the texture is lovely, which of course you can't get. So we apologise, we can't, let you feel everything and what have you. But you will. When you get it and you make it, it'll be grand. I must explain, if I look rude today because I'm on my laptop a lot, every week when we present normally, I'm here and I do a little bit of tapping, but I've got SJ over in Manchester or in the office, and she's there and she's keeping the streams going, making sure that everything that we are doing with these lovely cameras ends up on your screens. She's not here.
No, so you're having to do everything.
Abroad. So I am having to do everything. So if I look really rude today at any point because I'm like this, that's why.
Yeah.
We'll
let you off.
And I did say I could go and sit over there and do this, and James was like, no, you stay up here with me.
I like it because I don't do the techie side at all. So for camera angles and changing things around, it's nice to have Gemma there.
I can do it from there.
I know.
But she just likes me here, so it's fine.
It's nice to have someone next to me chatting as well.
Oh, well, that's nice to know. Yeah. I do love a chat. Soz babes.
Soz babes.
Talking of which, young Izzy is still poorly, and we send you lots of love, sweetheart.
We do.
We want her back, but not until she's well.
No. She's got to be better.
YouTube. We have some comments.
Diane
says morning all, and Cynthia says greetings from a crisp southwest Ohio. What a great quilt. Not only is it a representation of the year, it's also a skill builder. I can see it made into individual small hangings. Funny you should say that, Cynthia. That's exactly what she's
doing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Diane loves the perpetual calendar idea.
Yes.
It is lovely. And if you don't have a hanger like this, and we will see if we can get some of these stands. We had them before. They're really hard to come by.
Yes.
But when they do come back into stock, if we can get some in, we will. But I just implore you, if you see them on here at any point, bear in mind they can take us a really long time to source. Grab one if you want one.
Yes.
But the way that you've done this, Jane, you can use a dowel or...
Yes, you could hang it, put dowel through it and hang it like a picture.
Yeah, or you can peg it like we do with our quilts.
Yeah.
Or, you know, there's
lots of
always
options.
a way of displaying,
yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Let's have a look on Facebook and see who's about, shall we? That's if I press the right button.
I mean, some of our customers have got clever partners that would probably make them a stand as well.
I know, right? Oh, I'd really love to see that too.
Yeah.
And if you do, make sure you pop us either an email across, info@Natasha Makes, if it's just for our eyes only, and pop on there that you don't want it shared. Or, you know, go on Community Makes page. Add it there.
Yeah.
Look. Here we go. Oh, good morning. No Facebook notification. I had to find you by searching, says Claire Angelina. First world problems. Not our fault.
It's Facebook's being a bit naughty, isn't it, at the moment? Because I didn't get any notifications this week.
And normally it's just the pre-recorded shows that are like that. However, at the moment, Facebook seems to want to do what it wants to do.
Does its own thing, however it feels like, whatever it feels like, whenever.
Yeah, exactly. Jane Vivash says, morning, Gemma and Jane. Morning.
Morning.
Danny says, morning, as does Karen Hughes. Oh, Auntie Liz is with us. She says the carers were late.
Oh dear.
But she's here, so that's all right.
Good.
Jimmy's with us as well. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning, Jimmy.
Vicky says, such a cheerful quilt, Jane, and a lovely idea.
Thank you.
Your mother's here, late.
Morning, Mum. You've not missed anything.
Just as gabbing, Kate. There'll be no surprise at all. Oh dear. And lots of people saying good morning to each other, and that's what we love here.
It's a lovely community. It's nice, isn't it? It's lovely.
Vicky says, poor Izzy, I hope you're feeling better soon and hope SJ is having an amazing trip. We hope so too. I think
we can't wait to find out what she's been buying.
It'll be about 4:40 a.m. there at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
But we're hoping she's buying a wedding outfit.
Yes.
She's gone out to look at fabrics and all of that. Oh,
exciting.
So wish I was there with her.
I know. Beautiful.
We'd be terrible.
We would.
We'd just buy all the stuff.
We'd buy everything.
And then come back and go, can't pay the mortgage.
Beans on toast the rest of the week.
It'd be incredible, wouldn't it? Or we have a morning with several exclamation marks. Now, is that there, Natasha? She doesn't say, you see.
No. Just comes
Is
on.
that you, boss? Is that you?
Doesn't say.
Oh, Claire Angelina says, Facebook tells me when you've been live, but not when you are live.
Oh.
I don't know. There's not a lot we can do about this, to be honest. It's no fun at all.
Got a mind of its own.
It really has, and we're not doing anything different, but it's doing it anyway. So that's frustrating. Jimmy said good morning specifically to us, which is lovely. Ali F says, yeah, Facebook is being daft.
Yes.
And also says, loving this new BOM. BOM is block of the month.
Yes. I do love it.
Very, very, very exciting. Oh, yes, and that is their boss. Not SJ at silly o'clock in the morning. Morning, boss. So, what should we show first?
You've got some lovely things. Let's do the little gift bags because
Let's talk about my specials.
They're limited.
Should we talk about my specials?
Yeah.
Then we'll talk about the Half Meter Heavens.
Yes.
Then we'll get round to the kits.
Yes.
And then
let's
I'll
do
shut
that.
up. That works for me, Jane.
Move that one out the way. Move the kit out the way.
There's a few here first, isn't there?
Yeah, I've got my eye on this. I rather
I
like
thought
that.
You might.
It's rather lovely.
Their boss has had one already.
Yeah.
Let's go into over. Oh, should we go close up instead? Let's go close up because that's going to show much more of what we need.
I take it out of its packet. That'd be all right to take it out because then it won't shine against the camera.
If anyone's got a packet that looks like it's been interfered with, it's fine. It just meant it's been touched by the wonderful hand of Jane.
Some people might not want that.
Okay. Oh, I think that's
This
fine,
is a
Jane.
beautiful awl.
It is a beautiful awl. I'm
wonderful.
going to go close up so Jane can show you.
Look
Look
at
at
that.
this. It's a really beautiful
This is
ornamental
ornament.
Beautiful.
But
I mean,
it's the sort of thing
it's
that you'd
functional.
have. It does the job, and it's got a protective thing on the tip because it's very sharp, because that's what you want for making holes in things and making sure that when you're doing fine seams, it's lovely to have it by your machine and you can just use that instead of your fingers.
Now, Natasha has had to import these, and they are
There's a good weight to these as well.
Yes.
They're quite not heavy. They're not heavy, but they're solid.
Yes. You know they're there.
You'd love this in your Christmas stocking, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and like I said, Natasha's had to import them. They do take forever to get here, so we won't be getting any more before Christmas. These are a buy me now or lose me for, well, at least a very long time, possibly forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Natasha bought them, she's saying, because she thought they might make a nice gift. They would definitely make a nice gift. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, anyone who's watching.
Yes.
Jane and I would like one. Kate. Just saying, Kate. Jane would love one.
Beautiful.
She'd love that.
Just fit in a cracker, Mum.
Another thing that's a good gift is what's in the little tins there.
Yes,
and
these are lovely.
Always popular.
They're all different, so it'll be a lucky dip. You won't know what you're getting until it arrives. But aren't these tins beautiful? Like
They
mandalas.
are.
Look at that. They're so pretty.
We love a mandala tin.
All different, as I say, there'll be a lucky dip.
And in the tin,
You'll get what you're given, as Inga would say. But there's inspiration on the top of these lids for having a bit of a go for quilt patterns.
But you get approximately 20 quilt clips in there, and they're really useful when you're going on a retreat or a class. It's just a nice stocking filler for your sewing member of family.
And then you've got this useful tin for keeping them in, like you say, by your machine, or when you go on a retreat, sewing retreat, or your craft club, or wherever you go.
Yes, yes, yes.
They're lovely, aren't they?
So that was another nice gift. Another nice gift, and we've had some of these as Friday deals, and we're going overhead for this. These here, Jane, you whip these up in milliseconds, don't you?
Well,
and for anyone who saw this fabric colourway and didn't get it, you had your chance, as Inga would say. Sorry, soz babes. But we don't have any more of those. And they really did fly out, at a rate of knots. And they do.
These fat quarters make these 4 little gift bags. Now these are great. They're great for teachers' gifts. You can put a little soap, a little hand cream in there, some sweeties.
Yeah. Fabulous for the children as well, if you need to send the children into school with gifts for friends at Christmas.
Yes, absolutely. And I also think they'd be really nice on your table with a little gift in. Like a little place setting. Put something in there for each other. Yeah. That's a really nice idea too. So it's a great 2 fat quarters, and you get 4 bags from them. Claire Angelina made some for her little boy's birthday party and gave them to all the friends. Yeah, party bags. Which is a lovely idea, really party bag. Just perfect. And it's a sort of bag, again, once you've made these bags, and if you're gifted one, you gifted it to a sewing friend, you'd have this by your sewing machine with all your little bits in as well, wouldn't you?
You absolutely would. Absolutely would. And these kits, whenever we make them up, they disappear at a rate of knots. They're normally in SJ's Friday deals. She's not here. So I've poached them for today. And the reason I've poached them for today is that this is the fabric that we've used this time. Now, we haven't made a sample up because we want to offer you as many kits as possible, but these won't stick around. We only have a few. Yeah,
there's a limited amount of that fabric, isn't there?
Yes, and you get your 2 fat quarters.
Beautiful together.
And you get your pattern free. I mean, it's a phenomenal offer. It really, really is. So that is one of those things that, like I say, it won't stick around. And once it's gone, you'll have had your chance.
You'll make your 4 little bags.
Inga tells us.
With that lovely snowflakes and this lovely blue. It's gorgeous fabric, this is.
Well, we saw them, didn't we? And I thought, what are we going to do with this little remaining bit of fabric? This went with the Holly Taylor panel that was in a Friday deal recently, and you all snapped it up. Yeah. Snapped up some meterage, and we've got this tiny bit left. And before it went, I thought, I know what I can do with that. I have a purpose for that, I thought,
they'll
Jane.
make beautiful little bags, won't they?
Absolutely. And then the remaining bit of winter flurries, I am treating you, is going as a bolt end. We love a bit of a bolt end, don't we, Jane?
It's a nice piece.
Now, it is a nice piece. It's 1.35 metres, but that fabric is rather beautiful with today's block.
Yes, you could use that as backing.
You could. You could. Be close up. Should we be clever, look?
To the close up.
Yeah, I pressed the button, Jane. You watched me do it.
I did see you do
it. 4 times I've pressed that button now. But look how beautifully that coordinates. So if you were looking to make cushions, or, you want to, because you're going to have more than enough to do more than one of these fronts in your kit. And you could use a bit of this in amongst there as well.
Yeah. If you bought this piece of bolt end, you could just hem it and have it as a tablecloth in the middle of your table at Christmas.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah. Or make napkins.
Beautiful. I might just pop that, Jane, just decoratively somewhere beautiful. It's going to get in your way though, isn't it?
No,
look at
fine.
that though, eh?
It's lovely.
Gorgeous.
It's perfect colours.
It is a bit.
Lovely.
Bolt ends, we do have... It's not going to work, is it?
No.
It was me getting all schmancy.
Nice try.
We do have bolt ends on our website that are being added. So keep your eyes peeled.
There's some nice clearance fabrics as well, isn't there?
Yes.
We've got some of the Lewis and Irene Christmassy fabrics.
Natasha's on.
Oh, yeah.
She's still here. She's still here?
Yeah, don't tell her.
She's still here. Is she gone? Anyway. What I'm going to say is, if you keep an eye today on our fabric clearance page, that's where you'll find the bolt ends. The bolt ends are fabulous. You're getting 25% off on a lot of the fabrics.
Yeah.
And they're really useful sized pieces.
Yeah, they're great for full-size quilt backings.
Quilt backings, or sometimes there'll be a smaller
Dressmaking,
bolt end
yeah.
like this, which is just a really nice amount to have in your stash for a project, whether it's a table runner or bags or cushions, whatever.
Perfect.
But we also have fabrics on there by the ½ metre that are reduced. I don't know whether she's here or not. Assuming she's not here, what I plan on doing
Don't tell Natasha.
in a moment is putting some extra specially Tash isn't here type discounts on things. So eyes peeled on the fabric clearance page today. I'm also going to see if we can get some more bolt ends up.
Lovely.
That's the plan.
That's a good plan.
She'll have me shop. No wonder she's coming back every week. Natasha is going to be here on a Monday and Tuesday live as much as possible going
Which is
forward.
great, isn't
now
it?
that
Yeah.
she's settled everything in Cornwall, she'll be coming up. Mondays, Tuesdays, she'll be live as much as she possibly can. Occasionally we'll let her have a holiday as well.
Yes,
You know, that's allowed.
if she must.
I'm going to go into overhead so Jane can show you this week's ½ metre heavens. This is one of my favourites.
This is
Look at that
cactus flower.
in red.
Look at it. That's a bit of sunshine there, isn't it, in a piece
really
of cloth?
Is.
And we've put it with our... that's not lime, is it? That's I've lost the label.
Chartreuse.
Chartreuse.
Karen says, nothing to see here. Oh no, she was listening.
Oh dear.
La la la, not listening, she says. Well, just go away,
There
go
you
and
go.
design some stuff. Leave me to manage things here.
That's really popped the yellows and greens in the middle of
It
the cactus
has.
flowers
This
there.
is perfect. It's just beautiful.
Exact match,
Isn't
yeah,
it?
it's lovely.
Gorgeous.
It's a bit of cave cactus flower
Your mum says, place my order. Nice one, Kate. Good-o.
in red. In red. Cactus flower in red. Then we've got some of the watermelons. These are lovely prints and a versatile print that, you know, doesn't always shout what it is. When you cut it up and use it in strips or squares or pieces within your patchwork, you can get such fun designs with it.
My favourite thing I've seen made with the watermelons fabric is Natasha's pumpkin.
Yes.
The fabric pumpkin
Works
made
really
with
well.
watermelons fabric, because it gets all bunched up, it's perfect. It looks phenomenal. Oh no, she says, still here. What have you done? Go away. Go away. No fun.
The plain with this is emerald, which just picks out all those lovely greens within that print. It's lovely. That's watermelons from Cave.
Do we have the pattern alone, says Jimmy. Jimmy, if you mean the pattern for the 4 from 2 fat quarters, yes, we have it in digital format, so it's downloadable as well as printed. We also have the block for today in downloadable and printed format.
This is Checkmate in grey, and we've put it with a bit of fuchsia, I think. Bright pink. That would make a great bag, wouldn't it?
Beautiful.
It's lovely.
Really would.
Now, we've got that also with spearmint. And look at the pink and the spearmint together. Have you bought that
It's
as
so
a double?
nice to see a couple of planes as options together,
Yes,
isn't it?
it is. So you've got the Checkmate grey, either with spearmint, which picks out this colour here, or with the bright pink, which picks out this colour here. But if you bought 2 lots together, you'd have your spearmint and your bright pink, which look lovely together, and you'd actually have, in 2 pieces, you'd have 1 metre in total of your Checkmate, which could make a really good fun quilt, actually. You start cutting the squares out here and do a 4 patch of these, alternating them.
Lovely.
Lots of fun. So that's the Cave Checkmate with spearmint or bright pink.
Beautiful.
I think that's probably, it's a Brandon
Yes.
pin for the Cave Collective, because it's always a bit
Amazing.
of fun. When Brandon does his, there's always a little bit of fun with
I
his
love it,
prints.
and because Cave does the colour, they work so well with the rest of the collection.
Yeah.
You can see, can't you?
This
As
is
we're
a
moving through other
beautiful Millefiori pink.
I love a bit of Millefiori.
And then we've got this with, I think this is Sky. Yes, Sky. And that Sky just picks out the background blue that's in this, which just lifts all the mauves and the pinks within the print, which is lovely.
Lovely.
Beautiful. That's really nice, gentle print, that one.
Gorgeous.
This one is gorgeous. This is one of my favourites of the new collection. This is Hellebor's Natural. And we have put it with, now then, is that purple? Yes, it is. It's purple. I didn't know if it was Imperial, but it's purple because it just lifts these purples within the prints.
Gorgeous.
Just lovely. That's a really pretty fabric.
Do you know, I don't think anyone does florals like the K Facet Collective.
No, I think it's
Actually, lovely
probably
Philip.
a Philip. Yeah, it's Philip's illustrations that Kaith has then coloured. We've got a little bit of Harvest Mouse here. This is Lewis and Irene, excuse
Thank you,
me,
folks.
sorry. And this is Autumn Fields Reloved.
Yes.
Barley mice on soft earth. And we've put it with our blush
Mm-hmm.
because it just lifts these little mice in here. We go close up on this fabric because it's so cute.
We can. And I think you need to with these. They're just lovely.
The illustrations within the fabric are beautiful.
They are.
There we go.
And there's such a softness to the colours as
There
well.
is.
They're
And then
lovely.
that's with the blush. And you can see there that the blush really lifts a little the colour of the mice. Really
does.
pretty. Really pretty.
Gorge.
So that's a bit of Lewis and Irene there with blush. That's lovely. This is a bit of the Ruby Star. Rashida Coleman.
Yeah, it's
Eminence.
Coleman Hale, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is Eminence in Royal. I love this fabric.
There's a metallic through here, but it's
Yeah.
a delicate metallic, isn't it?
It's very subtle.
Again,
very
I think that's
fine.
a close-up situation, isn't it?
Yeah. Very subtle,
There
very
we are.
fine. Just these flowers here. And then this little leaf here. And then in the stems, a little bit of the stamens and in the petals. Just soft and it's got a lovely shimmer to it.
And that
You just
wonderful
pick that up
quality you
there.
can expect from Ruby Star from over
Yeah,
as well.
Moda fabric. It's wonderful base cloth to start with.
One of your favourites, Jane.
It is. And this is with pomegranate, which just whoosh, pops that completely. It's lovely. Really nice. We've got some planets here. Look at this. I love this fabric. This was, we had a panel, didn't we? This is Starbright by Jennifer Elroy. It was,
That's right.
yes, Solar Systems, dark blue. And we've put it with some peach because that just really lifts all the background colour within there. There's little few planets and
Yeah,
stars with the
stars,
peaches
aren't
in. But it's just really lets the fabric sing for itself.
It's a nice choice, that one.
It is, it's lovely. We've also got a few of those that we've put with our slate blue. And again, look at that, how that plays nicely with the other plain. So again, you could have one of each and make a lovely little quilt for a baby shower or an up-and-coming baby in your family.
Fabulous.
That's a really pretty. So you've got one with the slate, or you have it either with the slate or the blush, I think it is. Yes, no, peach, not blush, sorry, peach. So peach, that colourway, or slate, that colourway. Nice.
Then, what have we got here, Jane?
We have a little
little
bit of liberté. And not only have we got a bit of liberté, which is rather special, this is Portobello Paisley, and it is, we put it with an ombre woven.
Now, small admission here. The ombre woven is a premium fabric.
It
You
is.
know, when this came in, we had it at $7.95 a half metre. The Liberty is very much a premium fabric, worth at least that as well. So this should be just shy of, well, around £16 mark for this bundle.
Yes.
This has gone up at our regular half metre heaven price of £9.99. So we have limited
Super
stocks
duper
of
bargain.
these, but all of these half metre heavens you've seen, including this one, will go live at midnight tonight.
Now this is a woven, so it's the same on both sides.
Yes, which
It's
I
a
love.
lovely fabric, and it, as you can see, it ombres. It's the stripe that goes from narrow, that side, and then it gets wider as it goes across here, and
Lovely
then goes
to
back
make,
again.
You know, lovely to make a scarf or something out of
Oh
these.
yeah,
because
absolutely. Yeah,
they are
they'd make great, wouldn't they?
You've not got to worry about.
Yeah, you could add some
Using
fringing to
print.
the bottom of that, or a couple of tassels or something. It would look lovely, wouldn't it?
It would.
And then you've got your liberty to make something beautiful with.
So those are our half metre heavens, which will go live at midnight tonight. Like I say, keep an eye on the fabric clearance page and the last chance to buy as well. That's always a good place to have a little peep.
Yes, absolutely.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Very, very soon. We've also, however, today, because the kit that we're doing, our beautiful snowflake, it features some sparkle blender fabrics. You've used these a bit before. You used them in the candy medallion, Jane.
I did,
didn't
yes.
you?
Just
They're
a very,
lovely.
it's a very subtle sparkle,
Yes.
which I
Yes.
liked because Frosty Flakes, it's just a little shimmer like when the sun catches the frost.
Nice.
We've got some beautiful colours here.
We have.
I'm going to be using some of them again. You might have noticed in the firework
Yeah.
and the Christmas
Yeah.
one, there's some more of it. It just adds that little element of festivity to the fabrics. It's not heavy. It's a very subtle sparkle. It's
Yes.
not bonded on.
No.
So
No.
it's,
There's no need for a heavy adhesive.
that's right,
Yeah.
yeah. The glitter fabrics, the glitter cottons we had, they got an adhesive on there that was a bit pungent.
Yeah, which
There
is
isn't it?
expected
Yeah.
with a
It
glitter
is, with
cotton.
with an
And
adhesive,
they've got
it
a
is.
They've got a stiffness as well.
Yeah.
Of course they have.
So-
you know,
This is the cream, which is, I mean, this would be fabulous as a having your
Yes.
stash blender. The
It's
fabric
nowhere near
itself, no,
stiff
it
as
plays
some.
like cotton. It's very soft. It's a good base cloth. It's got the glitter on it. You do get a little bit off on your hands, but not much. I mean, it doesn't all come off.
Look at
It irons nicely because sometimes when
you
you
said that, Jane. I don't have a single piece on my
No,
hand there.
there's not
Everyone
much.
can see. There's
It
not
doesn't
a single
much.
piece. Have a
Um,
good go.
and
Because that's an important consideration
Yes, it
for
is.
some.
Yeah.
I don't just, go rubbing
And
my hand freely on
sometimes
fabric.
when you've got glitter in your fabric and you put your iron on it,
Yeah.
it goes dull.
Yeah.
And this doesn't. It works all right with your iron as well. And the fabric is, the base cloth is lovely. It's a soft mottled print. So it works well as a blender
These
within
are
your
a great
projects.
blender, and they are called a sparkle blender for a reason, because you've that mottled effect
Yeah.
that you've got different tones of the colours coming through, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice fabric range, I think, and
Yes.
there's lots of colours. We've got lovely ombres of greys here. I've got the two greys. One's more of a bluey grey
Mhm.
that I've used within my kit,
Yes,
and then we've got some nice bright
we have
colours there as well. We've got like the gold, and I love this. This is the one I've used in the Christmas.
yeah, for December.
And then these ones I've used for the firework.
Yeah.
Because they're bright and sparkly.
And of course, I love all these,
Yeah,
turquoisey
teals and
blues
turquoise,
teals,
yeah.
and they're gorgeous. But all of these here, what we've done is put these on by the half metre, because for your festive makes especially, who doesn't love a bit of sparkle?
Well, exactly, yeah.
It just jazzes something up a little
Yeah,
bit.
you could
doesn't
make
it?
just napkins or anything, edge of a napkin or
Yes.
anything for your Christmas table.
Yeah.
It would look
Beautiful.
lovely,
So
really
that's what we've
nice.
done. We put those up by the half metre today for you so that you can purchase those as well. Everything's in the collection. I'm going to dive into my laptop for a little bit,
Okay,
and I'll just make sure that we've got the link to that for you on Facebook and YouTube. But it's our website that you need to look at, natashamakes.com. If you go across to the Watch Live page, you'll see that all the products are there. Do make sure that you click the button to see all of the products, view all, or you'll only get a small selection, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
What did you want to do first? Show everyone the
I'm going
different
to
blocks
show
or
the
kit?
different blocks,
Okay.
and then we'll go through the kit, and then I'll do the
Are you
demonstration.
here or are you on close-up?
I think
What would you
we'll
like to
do a
do?
combination. We'll do
Okay.
here to start with.
You tell me when you want a
I
camera
think maybe
angle.
we go above,
Okay.
and then you'll
overhead it is.
get a better idea of the blocks.
There we are.
We'll have a closer look at the snowflake in a moment.
Sure.
This is February's block, which is a heart, replicating Valentine's Day.
Lovely.
We've got the woven element within there, and as I say, a bit of reverse applique within that. And we've done the hanging on the back so that we can put that on the calendar. Each month I will show you the technique, and we'll talk about the kits and everything then.
Natasha's corrected my mistake.
Oh, has she?
Brandon does his own colours.
Oh, does he?
I thought Kate did the colours for the whole collecting,
Mm.
but no. Brandon does his own colours.
Oh.
I'm so sorry, Brandon, if you ever get to see this. I stand rightly corrected. Continue.
So, in the instructions, as I say, you'll get the instructions to make the block, and then the instructions of how to make it into a hanging. We'll talk about putting it together at the end of the whole 12 months of the making the blocks. We've decided that we'll do it November, because you might be thinking, well, why are we doing January's block in November? It gives you 2 months to get your block made ready.
It does, exactly, and then displayed.
And you can display it as an individual hanging if you want to, or you've got it then ready to then make it into the quilt at the end of next year. We've got March winds here with a cheeky little cloud blowing the kite around. There's free motion embroidery elements to this. There's a bit of quilting which adds elements to it. This is patchwork, which is then appliqued onto the block, and a bit of bonded applique here. So I've tried to incorporate different methods of applique. This is the Baltimore Mayflowers. We've got different elements here. We can do this by hand. I will show you how to needle turn applique. I've also done it by machine, and again I'll show you how that can be done by machine. There's lots of different ways of doing things, so we'll look at all of the ways that we can do things. This is simple bonded applique. So when I say bonded applique, it's put onto an adhesive sheet and then ironed onto the fabric, and then ironed onto the background fabric. We've enhanced that with some machine embroidery,
Lovely.
a little bit of quilting there to depict the butterfly flying around. Some of the blocks are more simple than others. You'll develop your skill level, so by the time you come to the last block in December, you'll have all the skills under your belt to think, oh well, this is straightforward, I can get on with this because I did this method in previous blocks. This is July's block, which as I say, always think of summer fairs in July. So
yes, of course.
We've got a bit of bunting here. Now, I don't know, some of the more observant of you here might notice that there's one of the colours of the rainbow's missing from this string of bunting, which is in the quilt, and you'll have it in your instructions. I left the red flag off for some reason. But we've got there's a little bit of hand embroidery there for the stalks of the strawberries and the cherries on top of the cake, but most of it is free motion embroidery. There's currants in this on the biscuits. You could say the currants in the buns or the chocolate chips. That's done with a fabric pen. Nobody wants to be spending all that time doing tiny little dots of
French
knots or whatever. I've got a bit of lazy daisy stitch down here with French knots for the daisies.
Gorgeous.
And again, just free motion. It's bonded applique with free motion embroidery on, and
So
we'll talk about how that can enhance a very simple
more
shape.
Techniques each
Yeah.
month. This is great, Jane. I love it.
I tried to make it so that you can either do it by hand or you can do it by machine, because I know there's some of us that don't actually enjoy hand sewing or can't hand sew because of our dexterity.
Sure.
Again, this is simple. This is bonded applique, simple shapes, which we've then enhanced with free motion embroidery and a little bit of quilting there for the wave shapes in the background of the water. Nice use of batiks, because batiks give you that element of different sort of textures and shapes. October, as I say, we've got a little bit of padded applique here. which just gives a little bit of depth to the pumpkins, so that when we do the curves on there, it gives that added texture. We've got bonded applique, and we've got a little bit of hand sewing there on the vines. Our cheeky little crow sitting on the top of there, and a little bit of the sparkle blender for the moon, just to add that little touch of glitter, so it gives it a nice texture there. And then we've got the November block, which is firework. This is found
the pizzazz to that one, Jane.
Foundation paper pieced. Very simple foundation paper piecing. You'll all be able to have a go at this. There's quite a lot of points meeting in the middle. You might want to get yourself, and we might put a sparkly embellishment in there to cover up if your points don't come quite together. But mine don't come quite together. From where you're looking, you can't really see that, can you? So we don't worry about it.
No.
There's a couple of blocks that I haven't got finished there. You'll have noticed that there was no April and there was no December. December's is the one that is sort of like the pièce de resistance. I can't say it. You know, the finale.
Yes, the resistance, yeah.
You've got a bit of padded applique in here for the berries.
Wonderful.
Bonded applique. Padded applique again for the flowers, and then we've gone to town with the free motion embroidery to give the effect of the Christmas roses there. Again, a bit of bonded applique with the free embroidery stitching on to enhance the shape. And then there's a little bit of hand quilting. And again, if you don't like hand quilting, we'll go through the technique of hand quilting. If you don't like doing it, you can do it on the machine as well.
Course. I
like the texture of hand quilting. Yeah. It'll be slightly different with a machine quilting, but similar. So, you know, I've tried to make it a combination, so people that really want to take their time with it can do it by hand and enjoy the process. Other people who don't like hand sewing, it can be done on the machine quite easily.
Wonderful.
So hopefully, you know, it'll appeal to nearly everybody.
It's good to have options there, isn't it?
So,
over here.
Yeah, if we talk about the quilt kit.
Yeah. There we go.
So, in your kit for the Frosty Flakes, you've got your the instructions are separate, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes, you don't get the instructions in the kit, so you can
or printed version to your preference, really. 'Cause
yes,
everyone's different, aren't they?
That's it. We've got some lovely tone-on-tone fabric here that's also got a grey frosty pattern on.
Overhead when this does its
when it's decided it's going to.
I have got another way on my laptop, you know. There we go.
There we are. We've got 1/2 metre of this fabric. So as I said, you've got enough to do 2 backgrounds, or 1 background and the backing of your quilt, cushion, whatever you want to make, or just pop it in your stash if you just want to make the quilt, and you've got enough there for the block, which is the background. We've got a long quarter, which will be for the binding or the frame of the quilt, the frame of the block within the quilt. That's our slate, that's our plain slate. And then we've got a fat quarter of the 2 sparkle blenders that I've used, plenty in there. You'll also get a reel of the sparkly thread, Scooterman thread, that I used to stitch over the top to make my Frosty Flakes in the embroidery with the quilting. And again, you could do that by hand, or you can do it by your machine.
Fabulous.
Now, it works like ordinary thread on your machine, just don't put it in the bobbin as well, just have plain thread in your bobbin.
Top tip, Jane. We do have the thread separately as well, so if you love it and you want lots of it, because who doesn't love a sparkly thread in their project, then you can get that as well.
You're going to get a pack of the 1-inch half hexes and the 1-inch diamonds. So you're going to have more than enough. There's 90 diamonds in there and 60 of your half hexes. You're also going to get a pack of these lovely little gems that you can sew on. Now, if you're going to make it as a quilt, for a bed, don't recommend you sew those on, because washing might be a problem.
Sure. Yeah.
But if you're making it for the hanging, I started to do it on this one. I knew it was going to come apart.
It's going to come apart at some point, Jane.
You can see that I've sewn them into the middle, and I was just starting to sew them on the outside.
I didn't know they
edge
just put
there.
a couple there, you know, for a jaunty angle.
Yeah, well, you could do
Which, you
that.
know, it's
But I
fine.
thought they'd look nice on each one of those
Yes.
in, just to add another little bit of bling to it. You don't have to sew them on. You could always adhesive them on. You know, it's, you know, a bit of craft glue, a bit of fabric glue. We have that, bit of pin flare.
Jane, I'm going to just mention a few comments we've got here because we've got quite a lot going on. People
Gorgeous,
talking about the
lovely.
project. So we have orders being placed.
Lovely.
We have people saying that you know, it's nice to be able to make a mini item
Yes.
and have that little bit of binding, setting it off nicely as well, which is our beautiful slate plain.
Yeah.
But there's also people saying that they've got other blocks of the month that they're going to be taking on, and that, you know, it's quite a lot to have to do. This beautifully can just be a one-off.
Yes, you can just do this on
And it
its
can
own.
take its time.
Yeah.
You know, you create
You could
a
have
block.
this as a Christmas project,
Sure.
couldn't you?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, it's not. It's an optional thing. You can dip in and out. We're not subscribing with this one, so you can dip in and out. You might just fancy having a go at maybe doing the May Baltimore. Maybe that's a technique you've wanted to try but have never got round to doing. Well, this
Yeah.
gives you the option. You've got a capsule of the fabric and the pattern. You can just try that. You might like to refer it then onto your Christmas one. You might have always wanted to have a go at doing foundation paper piecing, but found it overwhelming. Well, this is a small piece that you can just have a little go at.
And is that quite a simplistic one?
Yes, it is. It
I
is
thought
straightforward.
It might be, Joan,
Yeah,
because what you seem to have done here is taken different elements, but given us an opportunity to have a go in a way that's safe and,
Yes.
you know, approachable.
it's a small
and-
project.
yes.
You're going to get all the fabric that you need, and if it doesn't go the way you wanted it to go, nobody but you's not going to know.
Nope.
And also, you know, you can shove it in a bag in the cupboard and go back to it another time when you feel more confident.
Well, quite. And it's something you can take your time over.
Yes.
There are people asking about the foundation paper piecing block. We might have predicted this.
Yes.
Why is it those words strike fear into
They
the heart
do.
of
They're
all
like,
quilters?
foundation paper piecing.
So there's people here saying,
If
such
you
a
want,
gorgeous idea and designed too tempting. But Claire Angelina says, if like me, you're not a fan of FPP, can November be done as a pinwheel?
yes. If you wanted to, you can take the elements of the foundation paper piecing. You can cut the templates out and make it paper piecing,
Yeah.
English paper piecing.
Yeah.
You could cut the templates out and do it on the machine.
Yeah.
You just have to think about how the pieces will go together.
Sure.
But you could do it. And we'll talk about that. When it comes to it, we'll talk about the other ways you can do this.
Yes.
But I really would like you.
You're not going to get that you've got 10 blocks done, you come to block 11 and go, can't do this one, I've ruined the whole thing.
Yes.
It's not a thing. Jane will
No,
have
I will try
options
and
for
make
you.
it easy for everybody, approachable.
Yes.
And, you know, it might be the one project that you feel, I can manage this, I can just have a go and try this, because it's one block. It's going to be amongst all the other blocks. If it's not quite the way it should be, it won't matter. And as I said, if you don't get all your points coming together in the
No.
middle,
We'll put something
we'll put a
fabulous
gem in there. We'll put a lovely gem in that will go over the top
Or a
and make it
covered button or
sparkly.
something
Yeah,
wonderful.
it'll be
Covered button's
beautiful.
my answer to everything.
Yeah,
Covered
works
button,
every
bosh,
time.
Done. Lovely. Ali F says, I've ordered the kit and the instructions. I'm looking forward to it.
Lovely.
Yes. Leslie Freeman says, all that fireworks start is amazing. Chris says, also many techniques, such gorgeous ideas and designs. Too tempting. Stop, Jane. Stop.
We do our
Yeah,
best.
that's
We
what
do
we
our best.
That's what we do.
So
We are
let's.
fabric temptresses. That's what we are.
Yeah, we're
Ginny's placed her
enablers.
order.
Lovely.
The order is
Enablers.
placed. And Vicky says, would it be considered rude to ask my friend to have more babies so I have more little people to make beautiful things for? I mean, just don't ask me.
I was
No
gonna
womb
say,
at the
there
inn.
it is. There we are. There we are.
No womb at the
the
inn.
inn.
It's nice to have little ones to make for, though, isn't it?
Yes.
And
yeah.
these little blocks are so cute. You could make just 4 of them and make a little lap quilt or
Yeah.
a little crib quilt, couldn't
You
you?
could like have a
Choose your favourite
seasonal
4.
season.
Yeah.
You know, you could have the seasons.
There are a lot of elements in here that you could grab and use for something
Yeah.
else, which is so
You could
great.
have winter, spring, summer,
Yeah,
and autumn.
Yeah.
You know, it's
be lovely, wouldn't
four
it?
there that epitomise
Sure.
the seasons. So, you know, you could do it that way
Beautiful.
as well. Yeah, absolutely lovely. Right, English paper piecing. This this block is.
Wonderful.
And again, I'm going to show you how you can do it on the machine if you're not happy or you don't feel that your fingers can cope with a lot of hand sewing. English paper piecing, we're using the hexiforms. Easy to use. They come pre-cut, so they're all the same size. You don't have to worry about cutting and everything. One side is slightly fluffy and one side is woven. Now the fluffy side goes against your fabric. We've got some So Easy glue pens here because Sewline have been difficult to get hold of, haven't they?
Well, Sewline themselves, who are from America, I might add, they are out of stock. So they are having to now restock, which is taking a while, and then they've got to get back into this country to the distributor, and then the distributor have got to get them to us. We are talking 2023. We're hoping for January, but it's crazy stuff. So yes, we have brought in a different brand of basting glue pen, which you've been having a go with,
I've been
Jane.
using it. It is lovely. It works the same way. The only thing is it's clear.
Yes.
The beauty of the Sewline is you get the colour and so you can see where you're gluing. But this works just as well. It's just you have to remember where you've glued, basically.
It's a nice big one, actually, Jane.
Yeah, it's got a nice edge to it. You can also, you can just use the edge on it or you can use it flat down. I have stuck the, put a bit of glue on the fluffy side, stuck that onto my fabric, and then I've cut a generous 1/4 of an inch all the way around my shape. And then we'll just simply put the glue on the edge there. I always put a little bit on either side of my fabric and bring that over, and we'll work our way around doing the same thing each time, just bringing that over. You might find that you need to just put a little bit more glue on the fabric. You can feel with your fingers across the shape so you know you're getting it tight up against the shape. The shapes are thick enough that you can feel the edge of it and you won't turn it over, and lose the shape, but thin enough not to sort of be too bulky. And then we can just fold off this last one down. And you'll do that with all your fabrics. It's all in the instructions, how many diamonds and how many half hexagons you need for each one.
As usual, full colour instructions, really detailed instructions.
So you'll end up with a load of pieces like this that you then start sewing together. Now, if you want to do it by hand and you've never tried English paper piecing before, these are nice size pieces. They're not too over-facing, there's not too many, and it comes together quite well. So you start off by making the star for the middle. Now you've got like a grey and a bluey grey, so I've done 3 blues and 3 greys, and I sew them together in pairs, a grey and a blue, points together. Now when you've got your little ears of fabric like this, they'll tuck underneath when you put them together like so. So you can place them right sides together. Just took that little ear out of the way, and you just start off with your thread. I'm going to put my glasses on here because otherwise I'm not going to.
Get your eyes on, Jane.
Sew my finger to the fabric.
Yeah, don't do that.
You can start off with a knot if you want to. I tend not to.
Close up, Jane?
Shall we try close up? See if I can get it in the right place. Just take a little bit of your 2 fabrics. Your thread going straight across opposite. Now if you want to put a knot in, you can. I just leave a little length of thread like so. You see that length of thread there, and I'll sew just a couple of stitches, not on top of each other but very close together, so it just sort of locks the stitch in. And then as I sew along, I will catch that tail of thread there in my stitches. And you don't have to sew it very close together. You can get this done quite quickly, really. About 1/8 of an inch apart. If you want to, you can go a bit closer. But you can get them done fairly quickly. So you'll start off by sewing your diamonds for your centre star part. You'll sew a grey and a blue together in pairs twice. so that you've got 2 sets. And if you read through the pattern, you'll see how it goes together, and you can start sort of bulk sewing pieces. And the beauty of hand stitching like this is you can just put it away, can't you? You can have it by you in an evening doing your basting.
It's really
gluing your fabric to your hexes, and then you've got them there, and you can just sew a couple at a time and put them down on one side. I used to take, when the boys were swimming, I used to take some hand sewing like this with me, and I'd just have it then in the car while I was waiting for them.
I have mine in my caravan, Jane. I've got a project bag in the caravan. You know, and another thing is that you can get other people involved. So I might get my stepdaughter who does not craft at all, and I'll get her sat there making hexes because she can run around with the glue pen and fold over, and she, you know, she's so used to doing that now. I got young Izzy doing that at craft club. Yeah. And she said, "What am I doing?" I said, "It's a low pressure job."
Yeah, it's easy.
And then I'm stitching them together, and you're chatting. It's nice.
It's a nice way of doing it. Yeah. So you can either just snip the thread off, but I like to take my thread back into my fabric just underneath. If it was a paper, it would be between the paper and the fabric. Here it's between the hexiform and the fabric, just to tidy it really, and it keeps it contained, and then I'll snip that off. So you'll have 2 sets like this, and then one of them you're going to put the blue so that the grey is in the middle, and then the other one you're going to do it so that you've got the blue in the middle with the grey either side. This is so that when you put them together, your star alternates blue, grey, blue, grey. So if you wanted to, you could do 3 pairs and then join the pairs together. I like to have the 3 together and then it's just one long line of stitching. I always think it's nice to have just you know, a longer length to sew together as possible.
Yes.
So I'm just going to sew this one onto here, and then I can show you that. And again, it's quite straightforward to do. And we'll talk about the machine one, doing it by machine in just a second. I'll just get this one together, and then what I'll do is I'll join the 2 halves together on the machine so that you can see the effect of the hand stitching against the machine stitching. And it can give you a lovely effect. So
and that's the
thing,
it
can enhance it as much as doing it by hand. You know, it's some of us just don't have the dexterity in our fingers anymore to be able to hand stitch.
And that's fine.
And that's okay.
Options. Vicky is saying, oh, she's OCDing all over the shop. She says, "Do you see the stitches on the finished piece? That's my biggest worry with hand stitching."
You do. Now, I'm going to tell you this, Vicky, and I spoke to Barbara Cheney, who is an internationally renowned sewing teacher, hand sewing teacher. Her quilting is amazing. She also does a lot of hand sewn piecework, not necessarily English paper piecing, but she does do English paper piecing. And I said to her once about seeing the stitches on the front, and she said, "You know that when when they're judging hand-stitched quilts, they expect to see the stitching on the front for English paper piecing. They expect to see it.
They are minuscule.
They're tiny. I don't think we can get close enough up to see those.
I will show Vicky some of my work.
I don't think you can see it. I've used a thread that is similar colour to my fabrics.
Machine.
You can see them a little bit.
There you go. I think you can just see them. But that's kind of the beauty of
the hand stitching.
English paper piecing with hand stitching. But when you machine it, then again, it's definitely there.
Yes.
And it's decorative, and it's part of.
Yeah. Again, it adds to the process. So, for machine stitching, you're going to put a zigzag on your machine. You're going to change your stitch to a zigzag. You're going to make it quite narrow, and you're going to make the stitches quite small. So on this one, I've got it on 2.4 and 1.2. My machine's got an exclamation mark against that because they're like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you want it that tiny?"
Sure,
yes, I am.
Yes, I'm sure.
What I would suggest to you is you get a scrap of fabric and you just have a play, because all you want to do is you literally want to just catch the 2 fabrics together. Now, you're going to have ears, and you just want to tuck those underneath the fabrics at the back. you can clip these together with your quilter's clips if it makes you feel like you're more secure. Now, if you position the gap in your foot on the place where the two pieces of fabric join together, you're going to be pretty straightforward, guaranteed that you're going to get your zigzag either side. And what it'll do, it'll start on one side and you'll be like, oh no, that's not in the right place. But just remember that it goes zigzag from side to side. And it won't sew down the middle. Now, you can make your zigzag on your machine as tiny as you like. As long as it catches the fabric either side, you won't have a problem.
Chris Cresswell's saying that she finds the whole EPP process very relaxing.
It is. It's lovely. Yeah, I do love a little bit of English paper piecing.
And I think a lot of people know I've got some arthritis and I've got fibromyalgia, and there are times where I can't sit and hand stitch. I can't, and my neck is bad and all sorts of things. But there's always something I can do here. Always, whether it's doing my gluing of my pieces.
So if I put that there,
look, you can see.
You can see the zigzag.
You can.
But it enhances the pattern, I think. It's not going to deter from the pattern. And if you get your zigzag small enough,
beautiful.
It will. And if you wanted to, if you've got an embroidery machine, you might want to make it a feature and use the embroidery stitch to put the pieces together and make it a feature of the pattern.
For sure.
So if we can go back overhead then.
We can.
So that's your centre star. You're then going to sew a blue and a grey hexie together, like a half hexie, to form a hexagon. And you're going to need 6 of those. And you're going to then sew the remaining ones together with the short side. So you get that shape. And once you've sewn those together, you're going to put a diamond on each end, the same colour as the side of your hexagon. Now what you'll need to do is you'll need to have 3 with the grey on one side, let's say on the left side, and 3 with the blue on the left side. Now you can sew all of these together all the same way, but just when you're coming to put your diamonds on, just make sure that you've turned 3 sets round the other way, so that you've got the blue on the left and the grey on the right and vice versa. So you've got 3 that way and 3 the other way. What you'll then do is you'll sew your hexagon into your star along this side. And what I did, and what I've recommended in the pattern, is that you have the blue against the grey and the grey against the blue. You don't have to, you can put it all the same way. You might want to just look at it before you start sewing it together and see whether you want to have all of your blues on the same side with the greys. Mm-hmm. I liked the fact that it then sort of added to the sort of crystal effect of the snowflake, having the different colours against the different colours. And the same when you come to do your it's like a T shape, Y shape, I don't know what you want to call it, but then that goes on to the end of the opposite end of the hexagon against the star. So that forms the arm of the snowflake. And again, I've gone opposite, so I've got blue, grey, blue, and here grey, blue, grey. But again, if you wanted to, you could have it all facing the same way, and it gives it sort of like a 3-dimensional look. It gives it sort of a 3D effect because you've got the light and the dark shading. So again, you've got an option here to make it your own. You can do what you like with it. So you'll do that and it'll all make your star. I mean, they can only do what
they like with it if they send you pictures though, right, Jane?
Absolutely. I'd love to see what people are doing.
You like to see all this.
I love to see what everybody's making.
For those who don't know, it's quite often Jane who picks up the info at.
Yes, it is me.
When you email.
It's quite often I answer your customer queries.
Yeah.
So you've got your snowflake then. This is your finished flake. This one's been done by machine. It's all zigzagged. There were some elements that are hand stitched, but by the time I got to this point, I was like, no, I've got to get this finished. I'll be here forever. Much as I'm enjoying the process,
crack on, Jane,
I need to get it done.
on.
So this one's all been done with a very small zigzag on my machine.
And they just have different appeal, don't they?
Yeah. To me, that doesn't look any different to a hand-sewn one.
No.
The effect is the same.
No, and to be fair, at a quick glance, no.
No.
But then when you really look into it and the detail of it...
Yeah, you can see it.
But what about this wonderful sparkly thread, Jane? I can't wait to hear where that's getting involved.
Yeah, well, we're going to applique this onto your background square.
And the relief at realising you've not got to piece all this malarkey.
Yes, is quite
Good-o, Jane,
nice,
good-o.
isn't it? It's quite nice. Now, what I suggest you do, I've said in the pattern to cut the square to 13 inches square. They're 12-inch finished blocks, which normally you would cut it to 12 and a half.
Yes.
But because we're going to, for your hanging, you'll be quilting it and everything else, I cut the square slightly bigger and then you can trim it down. It's easier to trim down than then find your square isn't quite big enough. So take your background square and just fold it in half one way. Oops. Finger pressing it, so you've got a crease in it there, and then fold it in half the opposite way. So again, you've got that crease in there. This just helps you to position your snowflake, making sure that you've got it centred, because you've got your crease here that goes into this point here, and you've got your crease along there. You could set it the other way, you could have it that way. It's entirely up to you. Again, it's how you want it to look when it's on your design.
Sure.
You know, you can have a play with it. You might want it slightly skew if that's how you feel that you want to have it. It's entirely up to you. It's your block. But I've done mine so that I've got 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, if you like, along the centre crease.
Nice.
Going horizontally, and then I've got the points in this crease along here. So I know it's in the right place, and then I will pin that to my background fabric, just going through in the points there, just to hold it down while I then sew it to the background fabric. Now again, I did this by hand. I did an applique stitch. Applique stitch is very similar to your hemming stitch, if you like. It's just hidden out of the way, and it holds the snowflake down.
Nice.
Now, as you sew, you're going to just tuck those little ears back underneath on your sewing. Just tuck them back under, and as you sew, you can just make sure that they're hidden out of the way. You can just use your needle point there just to push those back in. So, an applique stitch. You come from the back. I've put a knot in my thread. I come from the back, and I just come from the back cloth, and I just take a little bit of the edge of the fabric that I'm applying on, so a bit of the edge of that blue there, and then I'm going to go back down exactly opposite to where I came up, so it forms like a little straight stitch, and then I go across underneath at the back, and I'll come up into that fabric on the snowflake, and then back down, straight back down. And again, if you don't want to do hand sewing with this, you can take it to your machine and you could do the zigzag stitch or a fancy embroidery stitch, or you could do a straight stitch and just sew it down just on the inside of your snowflake, just going all the way around the edge. Entirely up to you. You know what your ability is and how you feel you want to finish it. You can have a play with fancy embroidery stitches, a simple zigzag, or a straight stitch. All will look fabulous, and again, you'll have made it your own.
Yeah.
You know.
Jane, yesterday when we had that horrendous rain,
Yes.
it really was.
It really was.
Off the scale rain. I said to Natasha, well, I don't know whether you were listening.
I was
yesterday,
listening,
did
yeah.
you?
Yeah, I heard
And I
you, and
said-
I was like, yeah, it is. It's the sort of weather where you just want to snuggle up with a good film
Yeah,
and
with
a
an
bit of hand
epic.
sewing.
And I said, and you just want to sit and watch an epic. And we both said at the same time, like Ben-Hur.
Yes.
I mean, this is just that project, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Snuggled under a quilt, preferably with my little dackies on my lap underneath that quilt. And yeah, just sit and stitch like this. I have got various things that I've put together, especially with the diamonds actually. I'm going to quickly, just while you're doing that.
Yeah.
I have covered diamonds with pretty bits of cake, tiny little bits that I've got left over.
It gives you the ideal opportunity for fussy cutting, doesn't it?
And it's beautiful. So you can make lovely sort of star-shaped flowers with these.
Yeah.
So you put 6 together like this.
Yeah,
in
pretty
a
much like the
floral
centre
print.
of the...
Yeah. So I've done that, which is the centre of your snowflake. And I've made a few like this out of cave. And then from my jewellery making kit, because we've all got kit that, you know, keeps on giving, haven't we?
Yeah.
I've put a bead in the centre. Just a really pretty little bead. And I've got them and they're lovely. And I keep going, what am I doing with them now? But this is what I'm doing with them
Yeah,
now.
you can apply them
You
onto
know,
little blocks.
You could put a jacket even, if you wanted
you
to.
could put,
you know,
you could put
customise a denim jacket.
a plain hexie,
Yeah.
sorry, not a hexie, a diamond. So
Yeah.
you could have your flowers there, but you could then put a plain cream colour one in there, and then you can join your next flower onto it.
Yeah.
So that would, the plain would sort of enhance your flower.
Gorgeous.
And then you could carry on and make cushion cover or anything.
Well, I've made hexie cushions for the caravan, but again, like you say, you could do your flowers and your colours and have your plain ones in between as a background colour.
Yeah.
And be able to build up and build up and build up and have a different way. The brilliant thing with the hexiform is that you can leave it in and it gives that form to your finished make. It's just, they're lovely to work with.
They are, and
For
it's
anyone who's
also,
not
you
used
know,
them,
it gives
do
it
look
that
at it.
extra texture for this project
Sure.
as well. It sort of raises it up from the background fabric.
Natasha and I are huge fans of the hexiform. I know you are as well, Jane. And she's just really keen for everybody to have an opportunity to try using the hexiforms and just discover how wonderful they are, really. You know, this is a UK-based business, a small business. They're lovely.
Yeah.
We chat to them. They're lovely people. And we're always looking to support those businesses, but they have a product here that we can genuinely get behind because it's fabulous.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
The kit that we've put together for Jane's first block today, partly because we're introducing the block of the month, it is a big kit. There's a lot in it. We wanted to keep it affordable price, but we wanted to give you everything you needed. We could have split these packs and just given you a handful of each so you've got enough to make one block, but we wanted to give you lots so that you could discover the joy that is hexiform. Natasha has heavily subsidised this month as a launch offer. The kit should be $27.99, plus then you choose your instructions and pay for those separately. But your jewels, your hexiforms, your fabrics, your thread should be $27.99. We have an introductory price on it at the moment of $19.99.
That's
which
lovely.
Is phenomenal.
It is brilliant.
It's phenomenal.
It is brilliant.
You know, just the 2 hexiforms and the thread should be more than half of that.
Yeah.
And you've got loads of fabric too. So it is a wonderful offer today. But for me, if you are that person who's been on the fence about EPP, hexiforms, etc., what a brilliant opportunity to buy a kit where you're going to get lots of components to have a play with and enjoy and find out if it's for you, you know, in a safe way, an affordable way.
Exactly, yeah, it's good. I just wanted to show you the applique stitch from the back, but I don't know whether I will because it's cream on cream and I don't know if it'll show up, but we can give it a go.
Should we go close up and see if
we
it
can
picks
see
up?
what happens.
Let's have a look.
I don't think you're going
We
to see
try
it. We
our
can
best.
try.
Look at that. Stay really still. You can just.
So you can see it's like a long diagonal stitch each time with the applique stitch, just around the edge there. So it's a tiny, tiny stitch on the front that is literally like a little straight stitch comes up there and goes into the backing fabric.
Lovely.
So it's lovely because you hardly see it. You hardly see it. So it doesn't detract from your project. As I say, if you're really not into or not able to hand stitch, you can take it to your machine and you can do zigzag around the edge to hold it down, or a straight stitch just on the inside. That's easy for you to do. You can decide how you'd like to do that.
Lovely.
So once you've got your block done, if you make it into the quilt, then that's it for now. You leave it as that and you put it into
Block keeper.
Block keeper, pizza box, whatever you've got
Yeah.
for keeping your blocks. If you want to then finish it for your individual hanging, like your perpetual calendar, you're going to layer up your block. Now, I always say, you know, an inch or so bigger for your wadding and your backing fabric. You can use what's left of your half metre piece if you're not going to make it twice and do a calendar and a block or a cushion. You want to baste the 3 layers together, and then you'll quilt however you wish. And this is where the sparkly thread will come into its own.
Amazing.
I quilted down through the middle of the star, following it through those edges there. So that gave a line of glittery thread through there. I outlined the block in a white thread, so it was just to enhance the block. And then the squiggles were done completely freehand with the embroidery thread. It's easy. It's sewing thread. It's got layers to it, so just be careful, and you might want to get yourself a metallic needle just because that will prevent it from fraying and breaking. But it works just like a sewing thread, so there's no extra bits that you need to know about it. You just do it like a sewing thread. And if you don't feel confident with your free motion quilting to do the swirly shape, you could draw the shapes on to your fabric and you could hand sew them through. If you want to do it with your walking foot, you know, you'll get gentle curves and you can just follow the shapes around doing gentle curves if you wish to. You don't have to do the free motion swirls like I did. Just really took the, if I get the block across.
Yes. You knew that was going to happen.
I knew it was going to happen again. Before you quilt it, I would recommend that you sew the gems on before you quilt. You might find it difficult. You might want to quilt your star on and then sew the gems on before you start doing the free motion part. It's difficult. It depends. If you don't mind having the stitches shown on the back where your gems are sewn on, then that's okay. But it's quite difficult to sew it once it's quilted, so you might want to put those on beforehand. I just took my machine for a walk really in the blank spaces. You can see that my background fabric is slightly different to this one. It's just got a very subtle snowflake on it. We weren't able to get any more of that fabric, unfortunately. But just in places, it's free motion. It's not the same everywhere. It's different, and I think that enhances it, gives it more of a feel of a snowflake twirling in the winter sky.
For sure.
So, you know, you're limited by your own imagination with what you want to do on the background of your fabric with your sparkly thread. And then the binding, and we did binding on the cushion show, didn't we, a few weeks ago? So
on the bound edge cushion.
I give you all the instructions with some pictures in here about putting the binding on and putting the hanging on. You can refer back to the show. It was aired on the 26th of October. Gemma's put that in there. The little hanging on the back is literally 12.5 inches by 6 inches, I think it says in the instructions. You're going to fold that over by 1/4 of an inch once, twice, hem that down on both sides of the short sides like that. You'll place that right sides together with the wrong sides together to form a tube. When you come to, before you come to put the binding on your fabric, you'll just place that on that area there, so the raw edges are against the block on the background, so all those raw edges there are against that. You'll sew your binding on to the front of your block and bring it to the back, and that will cover that line of stitches there. And then once you've got your binding on and you've sewn that all down, you'll just sew that part down there, and that forms the tube then that you can thread your piece of dowel through or put it onto your quilt hanging stand. Marvellous. Whatever you want to do. So it's not a complicated block. This one is a mindful sewing block. I think I've put in the description at the front, I think it says something like snuggle up next to the fire, enjoy a little hand sewing while creating this beautiful frosty block, a lovely English paper piece project to display to welcome the new year. It's the sort of thing that you might just, between Christmas and New Year, when it's that time when you're not really sure what's going to happen and you don't really want to do,
full of cheese,
and you don't really want to do anything anyway. It's the sort of thing you get out and have a go at doing then.
Yeah. Amazing.
So yeah,
lovely.
Give it a go.
It is lovely. And we have launched it now, being,
it gives you plenty of time. You can
November.
start basting your fabric onto your shapes.
Sure.
And get it all ready to go.
And this is the slot that this particular project will take every month.
Yes.
So middle of next month we will do February's.
Yes.
And the middle of the next month we will do March's. So you're going to be a month and a half ahead with each one. So by the time it arrives, you'll have a clear month at least to work on it.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So we had to allow for postal strikes as well.
Yes, because we didn't know.
Which does remind me, at the moment there are all sorts of delays, and people are emailing us and saying, "Where's my stuff?" And we look, and the tracking's there.
Yes.
So Royal Mail do have your things. If you haven't received them, weirdly some are getting through really quickly.
Yes.
And then others are lost in the abyss for a little while.
Yeah.
But please do bear with us. We are, getting the orders out. Inga's packing the things she bought yesterday. She's packing them now. They'll go to the post office in the next couple of hours.
Yeah.
So we are getting everything out of here nice and quickly, with an occasional exception. It's then out of our hands. So by all means, always ask us. We'll check tracking. But sometimes it's just a little wait.
Yes.
And I think that's the case for everything at the moment.
And I think we're all the same, aren't we?
For
We've
sure.
had things that take longer than we expect them to.
Absolutely.
It's the way of the world at the moment. But yeah.
But next month's block, Jane, will be the woven heart.
It will.
Next week, however, Jane.
We're doing another finishing a cushion with flair, aren't we?
We are. Jane's new series, Cushion Finishing with Flair, is coming back next week.
Yes. So we've got, I don't know if you noticed, and I think Miss Emily's had the cushion, the elephant cushion. I put a little bit of flange piping, faux flange piping, up the edge of the binding. So I'm going to demonstrate how I did that.
I love how you do that. And sometimes you do it when you're bordering things as well.
Yes.
So you'll have a centre block and there's this tiny little faux flange that just adds an extra little frame to something.
It can frame something without making it bigger.
Yes.
So it adds that little bit of, sometimes you just need a little bit of darker colour maybe, just to,
this
sort
is
of like
my
a full
personal
stop.
request, was her first seeing this in a cushion. Because for me, when she makes a cushion and there's this little faux flange, I'm like, it's just, it's that the whole series is about that, adding that professional finish to your cushions.
Just giving it a little bit of extra to it, yes.
But Natasha will be with us Monday, and John, all the things being well, will be with us Tuesday to do the final show for his summer quilt. Fingers crossed, bless him, he's had a right old time of it.
Bless,
I don't know. Got a few last comments that I'll read to you, Jane.
Okay.
Jane Vivash says, I love the Ashmead hexiforms and that you leave them in and I don't have the tedious task of removing fiddly bits of paper.
Yes, that's always a pain.
Yep. Leslie says she took up EPP for the first time after crushing her bike and breaking her collarbone.
Ooh.
9 ribs and getting post-concussion syndrome. It was the only sewing I could do, but I really got into it and it helped with my recovery massively.
Brilliant.
Which is good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is mindful sewing.
It is.
And it is something I'm hopefully going to try and get my mum to have a go at when she's had her operation.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. We've made Chris late for a coffee meet.
Oh dear, sorry Chris.
But she does love this design. We'll wrestle with the temptation to start this block of the month over a coffee. We'll be here later. The other thing to consider as well is that when you have made a block, if you are going to make the quilt, you might want somewhere to keep your block. So I have updated our collection during the show. You will find Natasha's block keeper. Is it Natasha or you that did the block keeper actually?
It was Natasha. It was Natasha that did it.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Making sure.
I helped her with a sample, but
okay.
It's Natasha's design.
So it's a while. It's going to be a couple of years since we did the block keeper.
One of the first things that she did, I think.
Yeah, and if you don't have a block keeper, by crikey, it's a good thing to have. I was kind of glancing around the room, but I tell you now, that block keeper will be with her.
Yes, because she uses it lots. Yeah.
When you make a block, we sometimes call these an orphan block, don't we? They're a block, you don't know what you're doing with it yet, or it's just needing to be kept in a safe place until you're ready to piece your quilt. a block keeper is a saviour. I'm going to see if we can get a demo
It's
on that at some
like
point.
it's like having a folder.
Yes.
Really, that's
Fabulous.
made out of fabric that
Yeah.
holds everything together. It keeps it in one place.
Yes.
It keeps it nice and flat. It's a nice thing to do. And if you've ever made a block that you like, but you think I'm not making loads of these to make into a quilt, you can use that for the front of your block keeper pad. So
Exactly.
it's another way of using it.
That
Scraps of-
schmancy block that
yeah.
you did one of that you're really proud of, but you're never doing it again
Yeah.
because it was too much of a faff.
I'm not making
But that-
12 of those to make it into a quilt.
That's your
Yes.
block keeper front.
Yeah.
So I've put those instructions in today's collection because that would be a really nice project. It uses sewable plastic, which again is in the collection. Natasha had to go with that yesterday as well. She was making the hanging tidy. So if you missed yesterday's show, you really need to catch that one up.
Yeah, that was lovely.
It really was. And on Monday, Natasha was using hexiform as well. We had all sorts of hexiform things going on then with bags, and the hexiform balls are back, which were really popular
Yeah,
before.
they're lovely.
So if you've missed the other two shows, they are always here. You can get them on our website by clicking on Make It Monday, Textile Tuesday, or find them on Facebook,
Yes.
or you can watch them on YouTube. But we're here for you. I have applied a discount to one of our fabric collections. I might have a little bit more of a shenanigate here and there, but just go and have a look at the fabric clearance selection. And when you see it says
Don't tell
last
Natasha.
chance, an extra 10% off,
It means don't tell
it
Natasha.
means don't tell Natasha. She's definitely gone by now. It was lovely to have you with us. Thank you very much. This evening at midnight, the Half Meter Heavens go live. SJ is away, but I believe there'll still be a newsletter going out Friday morning, so keep your eyes peeled for that
Yeah,
as
there'll be lots
well.
of deals in there, I expect.
Absolutely, and just bear in mind your hexiforms are here, and we've got a good old selection. I put those in the collection as well for you. There's lots you can do with them. Vicky has gone from I don't do EPP to, well, you can make leaves with those diamonds too, and have an embroidered flower stem for a block or a
Yes,
jacket.
absolutely.
We knew
Yes,
we'd break
you're
them.
only
We'll
limited
get
by
you
your
in the end.
imagination, Vicky.
We'll get you in the
Yeah,
end.
you can do all sorts of things.
So yes. Oh, could this be done as quilt as you go? Jane says collect.
Yes, yeah, the blocks, you can keep your blocks to one side, and we'll talk about that when we come to doing the last show about finishing. I'll talk about quilt as you go, and I'll talk about how you can put those together that way as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Vicky also says that she made her first cushion after watching one of your cushion shows.
Brilliant.
Ginny's made 2 since the last cushion demo.
Brilliant.
This is all good to hear.
It's
This is what
lovely,
we
yeah.
like
It's
to
nice.
hear.
It's nice to know that you're taking it on and having a go. It's lovely.
Pat says, I really don't need another quilt, but I can't resist having a go, so I'm going to pick 4 of the designs
Yeah,
and have a go at making a seasonal cushion.
lovely
So
idea.
spring, summer,
Brilliant.
autumn, winter.
Yeah,
Claire Angelina gave us a lovely song earlier. I'm not going to sing it because you know what I'm like.
yeah,
I'm going to wait till I've pressed the button and then I can start the whole
yeah.
Jazz Hands and Winter,
Wonderful.
Spring, Summer or Fall
Yes.
song.
Yes. We know the songs.
Cynthia, yes, the PDF is available already for today's pattern. So if you pop over that link that I've put on the YouTube there, it's on the website. I can see it. Go to Workshop Wednesday, scroll down and you'll see digital downloads, the first set of instructions, then the printed. So being as you're in that there abroad, click on the digital download. You can get that in PDF form.
Lovely.
I think that covers everything, Jane.
I think you have.
Good-o.
I think you've given a good, full synopsis there. That's
and I've
really
managed
brilliant.
to keep the streams going and the internet didn't break. So
Yeah, fabulous job, Gemma.
time for a
Well
brew,
done.
man. Time for a brew.
Well done.
Thank you so much. You'll see Natasha on Monday. It's been lovely to have you with us. But until then, lots of love. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.